flowers only bloom at night. Quiet, unseen, still beautiful. I grow in the dark, watered by silence, rooted in truth. This rhythm, this is Envy's groove, where pain sways soft and healing comes low. Pull up slow like your lotion, walking low like the neighborhood could keep. Hands in your pockets, lips say nothing, say but your eyes whispering on you. Said you ain't good at talking love, but you planted in me like seeds of lust. Now I'm blooming at the wrong time, and all gonna go, still thinking it's love. Why you only love me in the after hours? Whispering truth in between the showers, saying it's real, but you hide me like shadows. I'm tired of dancing solo, blowing your echoes. Midnight flowers blooming just for you. Don't meet me up just to watch me bruise. I ain't your secret, I ain't your muse. I'm the storm and the calm and the full moon too. You trace my spine like a final proof, saying things that you never prove. Let's just vibe, but I need the truth, 'cause your love feels viral, overdue. I replay the nights in my empty sheets. You take the eye while I sink too deep. You like me soft, you like me sweet, but this sugar got thorns underneath. Midnight blooming just for you. Don't meet me up just to watch me bruise. I ain't your secret, I ain't your muse. I'm the storm and the calm and the full moon too. Midnight flowers blooming just for you. Don't meet me up just to watch me bruise. I ain't your secret, I ain't your muse. I'm the storm and the calm and the full moon too. I loved you in every face, waxing when I gave the grace. But I'm done begging for a name in the garden you never planned to stay. You only bloom when the moon is high, disappear with the break of light. I stay soft in the world gon' dry, but softness don't mean I can't fight. Midnight flowers blooming just for you. Don't meet me up just to watch me bruise. Midnight flowers blooming just for you. Don't meet me up just to watch me bruise. I ain't your secret, I ain't your muse. I'm the storm and the calm and the full moon. Deep as oceans, every word a love potion. Coffee steaming Sunday mornings, lazy kisses, no rush, no warnings. You touch it like a melody, playing soft and soothing me.
Ride the wave, let it take you high. Just you
Time walks in whispered laughter. Echoes linger ever after. Fingers tracing constellations. Lost in love, no limitation. Time flows out that when you're near. Heartbeats sing crystal clear. All into something real. Tell me how this love should feel. Ride the wave. Let it take you high. No resistance. Just you and I. Feel the groove. Let the rhythm flow. Neo soul love. Let it take control. Complications to elevation. Vibing high with no hesitation. This connection, no second guessing. It's a love we manifested through. Ride the wave. Let it take you high. No resistance. Just you and I. Feel the groove. Let the rhythm flow. Neo soul love. Yeah. Let it take control.
a lot of things going on inside of me about this one, but it's a firebomb, so we're going to go through it. I want to very excitedly introduce you to writer of the month.
Evening. Let me transition my screen for everybody so they can see me. There you go. Good evening, Lucia D.
Good evening, sir. Congratulations. I'm very excited for this project.
Yeah, so am I. It's been a real labor of love, to be honest. It's been quite the journey for me to get to this point with this particular album. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, there's so much behind it, right? I know, to kind of give context, I do, of course, know you beyond this moment, and it's such a different side of musical understanding, coming from this perspective of now producer, creator, songwriter. Tell me about what inspired you to actually make that flip and that transition.
Oh, that's a bit of a long and complex story, but so let me give you a little bit of my history. So I've been a DJ, a radio station owner, a music appreciator, and music collector for many years. I've been in the DJ game for I think 40 years now. This year, my 40th year. always had a huge love for soul music, huge love for R&B music. I specialize in music from when I'm DJing, from the 70s and 80s. We call it rare groove and anything associated to that. And really, as I've kind of transitioned in my journey from kind of coming from a DJ, I got into radio, and then eventually when I came to Canada, I set up a semi-famous radio station called iLive Radio. You know, we started as a yeah, I know. Started as a kind of like a weekend project radio station, and quickly morphed into something a lot more of a music organization. And in that time, obviously, we did, you know, as an organization, we did, you know, concerts, festivals, etc., and did a lot of investments into the independent music scene in Toronto, which was underserved at the time. But during that period, I was learning, right? I always knew that I had a musical ability. I couldn't play any instruments, but being exposed to really top level musicians, getting mentored by people like Donnie Milwaukee, shout out to Donnie, teach me music theory, to help me kind of better navigate some of the preparation work for the festivals and the shows. It really kind of opened up something in me. I've always been kind of more of a frustrated producer, you know, in my head. You know, I always knew what I wanted to do, and I just didn't have the tools to be able to do it. This particular part of the journey, I had a pretty cataclysmic event happen to me last year, and it really sparked, you know, really put me on the path for where I am now. Just kind of leveraging newer technology to kind of get my ideas that's in my head onto something that's tangible that people can listen to. So, you know, it was challenging at the beginning. I wasn't very good, but you know, I've seen myself progress and develop, and I got to a point where I was comfortable to release materials. And just to correct you, this is my 3rd album project I'm releasing. just to be clear, but I think this is the one that I think that where I've really taken everything that I've learned over the last year and really applied it to this and all the disciplines around music as well, not just the overall sound. There's the kind of like the you know, the vocal arrangements and how vocals should sound, and you know, the structure of the songs, right, and the impact of the songs and the level of emotion that you want to draw out of those songs as well, and obviously the consistency, right, consistency around, you know, an overall sound for the album. My previous releases were really just singles that I put onto vinyl, and I released them in one batch, so there was no consistency there. This is the first project I've done that's end to end, has a consistent theme, a consistent feel, and really tapped into that neo soul that I really love.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, going through, since you began creating and getting the opportunity to, just to check, I'm not sure if folks can hear me over there, Sermon.
They can.
Yeah, but to see the growth from when you first began to now, it's such an absolute, there's a definite difference. There's a marked difference in the sound, in the melodies, in the vocals, and you absolutely have a defined sound.
Oh, one second, Lucia. For some reason, you're not being captured on the output going out. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I think I know what's going on there. Yeah, they can't hear you talk. Yeah, shut up. Leave me alone. All right. I wonder why they can't hear you talk. Give us a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can do a bit of a technical in the back end here. 1 second. Yeah, I know. Why aren't you picking up what's there? Going back to the... Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. I think I have to take off mix minus on my side.
As well.
Talk.
Hello.
There you go. Yeah, it's a mix minus. It's my side.
Medea?
Yeah, you're there. All right, I just want to double check that everybody...
All right, y'all. If you can hear me in the room, say yeah.
Yeah, they're going to take a minute to catch up.
I know.
Yeah, I see it coming through now. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was my side. I my mix minus cut out cut you out.
Fantastic.
All right.
All
So
right.
you want to ask the
So
question
for those
again?
of you that haven't heard me, welcome to the listening party for the Monks' brand new album, Neo. I've been corrected that it's not the first, this is the third. But this definitely is one that feels away for me. And y'all know I'm a feeling person with my music, right? So the question that I was actually asking you or what I was sharing was about the transition and the difference between when you first began to release and the actual growth and evolution of that sound, where there's a defined sound that the Monk is creating now. And knowing you from, you know, the musical experience that we've had over the years, it seems like such a natural progression for the music that I see you loving and dancing to, and then now having it become a creation that you are putting out there. What does this all represent for you? Like Neo, I know it's like brand new, it's the first one. When we look at that term, the ultimate, what does this all represent for you?
That's a very interesting question, Lucy. I now see why people struggle when they answer your questions. What does it represent for me? It's a progression, right? It represents growth. I mean, I explicitly chose Neo Soul and a particular era in Neo Soul. I want to be clear about that, right? I mean, so many things get tagged Neo Soul, and Neo Soul is not really a genre. It was a classification more than anything else. But there was a particular era of Neo Soul that I really, really dug. And it kind of got a bit watered down. You know, independent soul kind of came in, independent R&B kind of merged into it. You know, so I picked a particular style and era that I wanted to pay tribute to. So that was a challenge for me, you know, lyrically, vocally, you know, putting the vocals together, putting the vocal arrangements together. How they express themselves is very poetic, right? So, you know, it's not run of the mill, like straightforward, kind of like, you know, verse, chorus, and very structured in that sense. They do runs, they do different shapes and different profiles to what they're doing, and they're trying to tell a story in a very intricate way. I think someone like Musiq Soulchild, right?
Yeah.
Like he's almost like freestyling over his music in a way, and it kind of comes back to his hooks, and he's telling this really like poetic story. He's just singing it, right? So trying to get that kind of feel to hold on 1 second. Trying to get that kind of feel to what I produced was actually really, really difficult, to be honest. And I had to take a lot of input from people and a lot of feedback from people to see if I got it right, if I got it wrong. What do you think's missing? We've got some contributions on the album as well to kind of juice it up a little bit. So yeah, it represents a lot. It's a very personal story. You know, it's a very personal story from, you know, drawing from my own experiences over life. So I use that as a basis for the lyrics and the songwriting. And again, thank you to everyone that helped with that as well to get that piece correct.
Yeah, it's as we start to go through the songs, that's one part that I definitely want to explore with you, because listening to the lyrics and knowing the context from where a lot of that is coming from. I mean, on top of releasing something that is this personal, was it there's a lot of vulnerability in it. Was it a scary process for you? Did you feel at any point like, you know, I'm putting some of my emotions, my experiences on front page? Was that a scary process for you?
Oh, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I always used to, you know, artists I've worked with, I kind of get in their asses like, why don't you put that out? And why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And why aren't you doing more music? Right? When you're sitting on the other side of the fence, it's easy to say that. But as you kind of get into the process of making music or creating something, it becomes very personal to you. And then when you let it out for the first time, you know, fear of what you think you're hearing, not, you know, what you think is great, someone might come back and say, I really don't like it. Or it didn't really do this for me, it really didn't do that for me. And I had to get past that pretty early on. And obviously because I use newer technologies to do what I do, you know, talking to my you know, people that I admire, people that are my peers, people that I've worked with and alongside, and trying to get their feedback. It's been the feedback's been lukewarm, and understandably so. And I'm not traditional. I haven't done it
Yes,
traditional
we're
way
going to get
any
into it.
shape
We're
or
going to get
form,
into it because it's such an interesting place to come from.
Yeah, but
And to watch it and see, because I'm seeing it and I knew that you would have some of that coming towards you, and then waiting to see what the reaction is now that they've actually heard what you've created.
yeah, it's gonna be fascinating. It's gonna be fascinating. I did a straw poll already, and a bunch of people, different types of people, have heard it, and I've got their feedback and made a few
Wait a
adjustments.
minute.
So,
What did you just say?
a straw poll.
A straw poll.
Yeah, a straw poll. Like a flash poll. You send it out to a bunch of people, DJs or, regular people or a couple of my friends, and they'll come up with their honest opinions. Right.
Yeah.
So, it was a good way for me to kind of measure, how right or how wrong I got it, from my perspective. But am I proud of it personally? Absolutely. So that fear is not as high right now because it's done. So this is the first time anyone's going to hear it in its entirety. So
I'm going to torture you and make you wait for my thoughts.
I'm sure you are.
On it. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's start to share this with everybody.
Okay.
Where are we going to begin?
We'll start with the Monks theme. It's really just the intro to the album. It kind of sets the tone of what the album is going to be, and how the approach to the album is going to feel for the rest of the album. So it kind of sets the standard.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. You're locked into iLive Radio. This is the listening party for the brand new album, Neo by The Monk. We're getting into it. This is the Monk's theme.
You ever hear a song and it feels like it knows you? That's the monk. You don't chase trends, you follow truth. It's 2 a.m. and I'm still wide awake, trying to find peace in this loops I made. Yeah, oh so, but my heart still knew I don't say much. I just play it through. This is the monster. You slow all of the ODs. It don't shout, it don't beg, but it still comes me. Yeah. This is the monster. Just press play, let it hold you now. Shut what's late. So without all the spray, yeah. Nah, it ain't just music. It's a message, midnight style, from me to you.
So yeah, that was the opening track.
Yes, the Monk's theme. Very, very nice way to start it off.
Yeah, there's a message in there. So a lot of the work I did for this album, I did after midnight, like between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. My brain doesn't shut off.
Yeah, I was just saying, you don't sleep at all.
My brain doesn't shut off.
4 o'clock in the morning, Lucia, what are you doing?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
That's crazy. I want us to listen to more before my brain goes where it goes, but did you find it difficult transitioning from a aficionado, I guess that's the word I'm going to use, of music. Over the years, I've spoken about the fact that when I think of people with musical libraries in their brains, you are one of those people. Scully is another one of those people. Was it difficult to make the transition from someone that consumes it to is actually now trying to create it? And how did you define that this is the sound that the Monk is going to encompass, and this is who I am artistically and musically?
It was actually very difficult. I mean, I've been trying to, in some shape or form, make music for years, right? So, oops, are you all right there?
Sorry.
It's okay. I've been trying artistically to make music for years, and I just couldn't wrap my head around playing keys. I couldn't wrap my head around, drum machines. I kind of wrap my head around, but I could never put all of it together in my head. I knew exactly what I wanted in my head, and when you kind of embrace yourself with music and music's within you, and you listen to so much music, you can't. My brain works a particular way. Like I can kind of dissect things pretty quickly. And I knew what I wanted to get to. I wasn't sure what that destination was going to be, but I knew when I heard it, it would be good, right? So I use that kind of visualization process. So when I got to a point where I found something that allowed me to be able to get my ideas out of my head onto something that was tangible that I could listen back to and then edit and change and review and come back until it resonated with, to your point, the music aficionado in me for a particular genre or style of music. I said, okay, that is what that is. I'm good to release it, right? So I kind of tinkered around with a number of styles of things of genres that I was really into when I was going through this process. But I think for this one here, I think it hits all of those key points, all those things I like about other genres of music, hip hop, jazz, R&B, fusion, etc. Came really encapsulated inside neo soul, especially that poetic piece. Allowed me to express myself from a lyrical perspective. It was a perfect marriage for me. So I finally found my muse to get what I want or what I need, what's inside me out, and share it.
So the process, and we're getting a little bit of distortion on your side there as well, Sir Monk.
Yeah. Okay, let me turn this down.
Yeah, you're dropping out just a little bit.
Okay.
So let's talk about process now, because, first, how long did it take to sit down, create the project from top to bottom? And then tell me a little bit what that process was like and the changes in that process from when you began to where you are now.
So this particular album, I think I started getting the idea for it probably around about November time. I was tinkering around with other releases and things that I did, and really trying to develop my sound per se, in terms of how I produce and how quickly I can do it or how long it takes. So I've been tinkering around with the ideas for a while. I had the lyrics done for some of the songs. I had the melodies kind of down for some of the songs. And you kind of go back and revisit things, right? Tinker with them, and then suddenly something hits and you're like, okay, that's it. So I would say from probably November time to now, to probably around about, I really completed it probably about a month ago, where I was happy with it. So it's taken a while. I've done stuff in between, and really a lot of that stuff I was doing was I was adding those elements to this album. So you'll hear elements of previous releases I've had in this album too.
Let's hear another one. I want to hear just a few more tracks, and then I want to dig a little bit more into the process that you're working with. Are we going to Gravity Ain't Real?
Gravity Ain't Real. Yes.
Gravity Ain't Real. This is one I actually really like. Okay, I'm gonna share. I actually like the whole album. It's a fantastic piece of work. I went through the truck test, booming it through the streets, and it held up nicely. So this is one that I actually really took to. Gravity Ain't Real is what we're gonna dig into next, y'all.
Okay.
Tell me what God stands to me. so sin, don't catch me at all. Spit in the same breath. Leave your sin inside my dad. Now I can wash you out. I try to stay around it. Try to stay still. Like jazz and the birds, like tears and a smile. It's fine, baby, without you. I hear you talking past the truth. Your touch don't ask permission. I still fall like this religion. You got me weakness, calling up. Tell me what's fake, what's real. Gravity's real. Why do I rise when I feel you? You write your name behind my eyes. Got my sleep talking in lullabies. You a ritual, a deep inhale. A velvet wall I never meant to fail. I ain't trying to catch a flame, but baby burn every part of name. Every note you hum breaks down. I don't even walk, I slide. Space free. All of it with you're not just a person, you a phenomenon. I ain't real loud with you. I ain't talking past the truth. Your touch don't ask permission. I so fall like this religion. You got me weightless, calling you feel. Tell me what's fake. Well, the green and the gravity's real. Why do I rise when I feel you? Weightless, baby, weightless.
So that's Gravity Ain't Real.
Gravity Ain't Real.
Track number 1.
I actually dig that song. I think the messaging behind it as well kind of it hits, right? Tell me a little bit, one, what is behind that song and what do you mean when you're talking about gravity not being real? If you want to reflect on that
Sure,
within the personal context. And then I want to know also about the inspirations behind the sounds, because as we roll out, I feel it and I sense it. So I'm curious about these things.
Okay. Yeah, Gravity Ain't Real is, when you meet someone for the first time and it's such a vibe and such a upliftment of spirit. It's almost like you can float, right? You float in. You're like, yeah, I'm in the air and everything's wonderful and great. In the context of that, that's why I say, gravity is the one force that no one can change, right? Centrifugal, the earth spins. You're nailed to the ground, right? So it's almost counteracting the fact that, it doesn't matter what's holding you down or keeping you down, keeping you grounded. It don't matter, right? You're going to float. You're going to be in love. You're going to be happy, especially in a world like this today. So, obviously after the pandemic and, the whole mood of the world has changed since then. So I wanted something that, to start the album that really embodied, that kind of upliftment. Don't be held down by anything, right? It's not real, it's in your head. Yeah. So that's how I kind of formulated the track.
That. Yeah, and I love that being the first full track off of it, knowing, all of the emotions and things that are built within what's going on, just the levity to that one I dig.
And what was your other question?
Inspiration. Tell me about inspirations.
Inspirations behind the album in terms of artists or styles?
About the sound and the artists. The one thing that I definitely took from it as I was going through were there were certain tracks that felt a particular way to me, So we've gone through so many artists over the years and followed their music and you know, enjoyed it and wrapped ourselves in it. And I could absolutely feel influences of some of the songs that we would be in the station just, you know, giving it up to. So I'm curious to know if what I was feeling is what was within you as far as inspiration is concerned.
I think so. You know, obviously, you know, we listen to a lot of music. We were influenced by a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And again, there's two ways I can look at, you know, kind of the genre of neo soul, right? There's kind of the moody, kind of let me cut my wrists kind of stuff that you like, and there's some of the more uplifting stuff, right? That brings a smile to your face, enjoy, like, you know, Jill Scott's Golden, or a lot of the music Soul Child stuff. Even though, you know, he may be singing about sad stuff, it sounds very uplifting in the sense of how it's kind of given to you as an audience to consume, right? Puts a smile on your face. And I tried to keep the album as much on that as I possibly could. And of course, you know, there's certain tracks as you go through it, I was clearly influenced by an artist, definitely.
Yes.
D'Angelo,
Absolutely.
for one of the tracks, is definitely a big influence on me, because to me, he was the guy that set the standard,
Yeah.
right, for that kind of neo soul sound. But again, not explicitly D'Angelo. Again, he's a little moody at times. I wanted to add that kind of happier element to a lot of the tracks as well. You know.
Yes. And I definitely did, you know, there's one for sure that I feel Canadian's own Potato Head people kind of vibe to it, like those are the dance moves I wanted to do within, right? So yeah, the influences I can see where your love sits with some of these songs, right?
Yeah, Potato Heads, definitely. Tender Village, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shouts out to Katie, absolutely Tender Village. The Blue Bloods out of Manitoba as well.
Wow.
There's a little Slacker in there too, if you're listening very
Slacker
carefully.
for sure.
So yeah, and again, it's and you know where I got that happy element from, I'll be honest. Remember the recipe put out Edges Laid?
Yes.
Right. Omar Lunin. The way he sings is such a bright way of executing his art. I love Lunin. Lunin's my guy, right? So I really kind of tracked him in my head when I was thinking about putting these things together.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting to know, because I now that you say that, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, let's run into the next one. This is Don't Walk Away Yet.
No, it's not. It's not. Say What You Mean. What are you talking about?
Oh, does it Say What You Mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord of Mercy. Yeah, that's number 2 comes before 3.
That's right. You have to count.
All right, let's go with it. But I want to know the story behind it first. I want to dig into all of it.
Oh, okay. Say What You Mean. Well, I think
Yes.
the title says it all, right? You know, if you are going to commit to something or do something, mean it. Don't sideswipe it. Don't say it just because. Don't say it for the moment. Really mean what you say, because the consequences of you not meaning what you say. Well, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you don't mean it. There's going to be consequences to that, right? So it's really just more of a little warning.
Have some backative.
Have some backative. Yeah, you call it backative. You call it what you want, right? So it's pretty self-explanatory.
All right, let's get into it, y'all. We are here at Listening Party, brand new release by The Monk. Let's go.
Yeah. That's my song. No. I say we'll be right. I say we'll be right. It much right. No. 'Cause I say we'll be right. I say we'll be right. It much right. You barely look at me when we talk, and when you do, it's like there's a wall. We used to laugh about the smallest things. Now it's all but y'all silence and scream. It's just ain't wrong, but I see it clear. hearing right, but your heart ain't here. I miss when you open up without fear. Now I'm just guessing, that's the biggest fear. Don't shut down when it hurts inside. We can't fix it, we both just hide. I'm not asking you to make it perfect. Just be real with me, but wait. Say what you mean. Don't go back. What you said. I can take that. We've been through storms to say the words on we can't grow if we don't say it first, babe. Say what you mean. Even if it's stay what you feel. Tell me everything. Keep it in. I want the truth, cause I believe in me and you. I know I've been quiet too. Tries to act strong, but I'm hurting too. We both been playing it cool too long. Like we don't care. We both know that's wrong. You don't gotta yell, just be straight. Even if it's hard, don't walk away. Tell me what's real, tell me what's there. You don't very much I handle the rest. We don't need to act like nothing's wrong. You don't gotta fake like moving on. If there's still love underneath the mess, let's talk out. No second guess. Say what you mean. Say what you said. Even if I broke up, I'm still here, still trying to be. And you failed for still finding me. Say what you mean. Don't make me guess what you felt. If it's hard, even if it's rough, that's where love is home. It ain't gotta sound pretty, it just gotta be honest. Even a whisper of truth can say something worth hearing. Say what you mean. Nobody made what you say. Said it face, say it now. Say what you mean. Let it out. Be what you feel. You can do it. I hope just holding it. Oh, I should be so close. I'm not asking you to fix it. Say what you mean. Be what you feel.
Yes, yes. Big tune out of the Monk. Brand new album, Neo. Say what you mean. You know, one thing I'm really I'm excited about, and I'm surprised by, because I didn't know this was part of your toolkit, is the songwriting that's involved.
Yes. Nor did I, to be honest. You know, it's something
I'm
that,
sure.
yeah.
You know, in my younger years, I wrote poetry and I wrote music, but to know you and to actually hear these lyrics and realize that these are coming from you, I didn't know you had that in you.
Yeah, I have it. What's wrong with you? Yes, apparently I do. And again, I used to write poetry when I was younger, so quite prolifically actually. I was pretty good at it in English, and really, it really tapping into some of that. And again, you know, I remember when we did Soulfest 2018, and Slacker did the songwriting camp. Yeah, you remember that, right? Were you there?
Yep.
Yeah, you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there, of course.
You saw what went down in that room. Shouts out to my son; he's on the live stream. He saw what went down in that room as well. But you know, when I started to try to write my lyrics and start to shape some of these songs, I really took a lot of what B actually said about, you know, putting ideas down, referencing, you know, your pain. You know, you observe other people's pain as well. You've been around the world a few times. You've seen a number of things, like reference the things that you know, reference things that you've experienced, and you know, once you have a theme for yourself, see how you start to mold those lyrics around it. So I keep everything very poetic, right? I think the bigger challenge for me was, how do I make something that's going to have a hook that people will remember? So, you know, the subject matter in the song is pretty obvious, right? But I think what sticks with me and what stuck with me when I did this was the hook, Say What You Mean, because it's pretty repetitive throughout the song, right? So when you start to remember the song, that's what you'll remember first, and then what that makes you feel.
Now, to wrap into that one, you know, lyrics is one thing, but then there's definitely a complexity to the melodies within the vocals that I find really beautiful as well. You know, and there's, you know where my brain is going right now, but tell me about hearing that and how the process of you imparting what you're hearing inside of your head and creating that.
Oh, I know I've spoken to people and they say, I some people have the song in their heads immediately and they know exactly what they want to do and they'll just translate it down onto whatever instrument that they're using. I don't do it that way. Mine's more a little bit instinctual. That makes sense. I know when it sounds right. I can't tell you why I know it's right, but I know when it sounds right. And again, I think that's a lot to do with, how I've trained my ears over the years from working with bands, being in music, DJing, and being a music collector. Kind of like, it's like a trifecta of things come together. And if you can disseminate what you're looking for, you can draw all these from references, right? You've got so many references you can use. And that's how I kind of visualize it in my head. So when I'm using, my tools to do what I do, I know when it's right. And I said, okay, there's my anchor point. And once I got my anchor point, I build from there. So, it's a process. It's definitely it's a complex process, definitely. But the results show for themselves.
All right, I want to hear more. Now we're gonna get into "Don't Walk Away Yet."
All right, let me cue it
All
up.
right, yes. You're locked in. Stay here with us. Definitely for those of you following us on YouTube, share your thoughts, share your questions. Let us know how you feel about this brand new release. Let's get into this. Don't Walk Away by The Monk.
Girl. Not for you, boo. Not for you, boo. Not for you, boo. Not for you, boo. You've been moving like you're halfway gone. Close still here, but your heart moved on. You say I'm tired, but your brain is plain. You just ghost in the room like you're sad and pain. I've been stuck in my pride too long. Fix it with silence like nothing's wrong. But I can't believe it. Wait, hold, and I feel it when my hand let's go. Don't leave off the chapter, we need bread. Don't give up on us, cause the light turned red. We can slow down, we can breathe through the mess. Let's remember what made us feel glad. Don't walk away yet, no. Let's fight for the love we ain't lost yet. We've been through too much, just end this here. Let's stay, let's try, let's make it clear. Don't walk away yet. It ain't gotta be perfect, real to me. Take one more step, not for the door. Back to what we started this for. Yeah. I know I don't see all the things I feel. You've been my peace, my home, my shield. I got used to your life like the morning sun. Get ready, don't get it done. We don't laugh like we used to. Now I'm just a version of being with you. But if you're still alive, it's soon to grow. I swear I'll meet you halfway. That sure don't walk on. Hey, yeah. Let's talk it out, not just say goodbye. On this time, people building to not those that over did it too. Don't walk away, yeah. No, let's fix the bricks, yeah. Walk off the phone once again. Let's remember we were more than friends, yeah. Don't walk away, yeah. We still wouldn't pay this stuff right at bed. Turning the key, shut the door. We were fighting for and more. Love don't die, it gets tired things again. It just needs rest, and a reason to begin and again. Don't walk away, yeah. Let's love like we went through from the outset. All the folk we still rose. Let's go back before it fully goes. Don't walk away, yeah. We just need time to hope one more.
Big tune, big vibe. Don't Walk Away Yet. You know, I'm getting good feels, like really proud, excited feels for these songs, because you know, who knew you had this in you?
Well, clearly I did. So
Yeah.
that's what it is, isn't it?
So tell me this: what was the song that was sort of the most easy to get out of you, and then on the other side, which is the one that just had your brain busting, that was just hard to kind of put together?
Oh well, I wouldn't say it that way. I think the one that really kind of set kind of the foundation for what I wanted to do was really the next track we're going to play after this one. And once I had that locked in, it was really the build after that was easier. Does that make sense? Because I was trying to keep it in that vein. This is probably, you know, that track, and as we play it, you'll see it, was probably the most challenging track to do. Because I go all over the place. I interplay, I throw it out of sequence. I put things in places where they probably shouldn't be. But I wanted to make it really kind of like jazzy and eclectic, right? So once you can do something as complex as that one, then everything else becomes slightly easier to do. Varying degrees of difficulty, that's what I will say. You know, some things came a little easier to me, some things I had to think about a little bit more. You know, some tracks I made that I threw away or didn't make it to the album because it didn't quite fit. Good tracks, but it didn't quite fit what I was trying to do. Even though they may have been a superior track, it didn't fit the flow of the album. And I think that's the thing I wanted to get right, was the flow of the album.
Yeah, it's a story. It's a story. All right, let's get into it. This is the one, I guess the pseudo prototype.
Yeah, the pseudo prototype. I think Lucia lost connection. So while she reconnects over here, because I think she's having some internet problems, we're going to play track number 4. This one's called "Used to Feel Like Love," the Neo listening party.
Yes, about one night you want you so begin. I could be this way as you used to be. Just can't, you're good, you can't. Most me, I say we used to laugh just to pass the time. And we scroll past each other like we lost the rhyme. Then it get cold, no one stay warm. I wish the day just a quiet storm. You still here, but you feel far. Sleeping back to back, like we strangers in the dark. Tried to fix it with space, now we're miles apart. I still believe, but we need a restart. I remember when you named me up. Now I echo like the song we give up. I don't want to make it, I don't want to run. Can we find when we back to the love? You don't feel like love, feel like love. Touch when we talk, to each other, yeah. Vibes when we're done, don't know when to change, but I won't let the love. Does it feel like home? Still stay, down here trying to find all of them, yeah. Still the club, I still believe what it was. It used to feel like round love. One thing, no pain. You wore the smile like a crown, like you barely around. I ain't trying to play, I ain't keeping score. Just as the days we dance out the door, sing the car, late night runs. I barely speak to the week come. Maybe we tired, maybe we grew. Deep down, I still want you to go. I ain't saying it's all wrong, bad. Just don't wanna forget what we had. Let's match, but a thing went for. We find our hearts, but they used to fall like love, like love, like love. Too fast, we talk, still does. Jump in, survive so long. Know when to change, but I won't let it go. Just feel like home, like home, like home. I'm really trying to find all the ways. Don't get me down, but I'm still above. I still believe in what we was. We is still like round now, but so deep, that's true, talk to love. So we know the vibes is done. Don't know when to change, but I won't let the love. Baby, like home, we down, like home. Now we're just trying to find all the way really down. I'm still the above. I still believe in what we was. Yeah. Love like love.
Are you back, Lucia?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here. So that one was Used to Feel Like Love. I'm not even sure where I dropped out, actually. Where did I drop out?
You dropped out.
Before the song started,
Yes.
clearly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I want to do, I definitely want to talk about the process, get a little deeper into your process. But I want us to listen to Come Back Slow first.
Okay.
And then come back. And, we've been sort of alluding and dancing around some things, but there's some really innovative elements to the creation of this album that I want us to talk about. But let's listen to this joint first.
You don't want to talk about Used to Feel Like Love?
I do, actually.
I
I'm
wanna talk about it.
discombobulated because I'm not sure how much of what I was saying y'all actually captured before I realized I was gone.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, you popped out. I mean, like I said, this was the foundation of the album overall.
Yes.
And this one here, like I said, if you clock it, and if you're a musician, you're like, where the hell is time signatures all over the place? His bars are all over the place. I wanted to feel like a jazz record. I wanted to feel like an unexpected way of executing it, but still stay on beat, on time, and keep that vibe going. So,
and you know what's interesting about this one? I see you dancing to this.
Yes.
I absolutely see your entire movement through this song.
How I dance is how I put that song together. Yes, absolutely. Even the breakdown.
Yes.
I got that. That's that inspiration I got from Music Soul Child. But really, that's really my D'Angelo track.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes,
that's my D'Angelo track. That's my 100% D'Angelo, 100% the falsetto. So it's it was a really interesting one. And when I finished it, I was like, yo, this is kind of fire. Ain't gonna lie.
Listen, this is one that when I listened to, as I was listening to it, I was sitting there just, I've been saying to you, fascinating from the time I really soaked it in. And this is the one that did it for me because, there's a complexity that I am just fascinated by in the creation of it all. But it's a bop.
It's a bop.
It's a full bop. So let's dig into Come Back Slow. Tell me a little bit about this one and what you are feeling and sensing when you created it, and then we're going to come back and talk about a few things.
So Come Back Slow has an interesting history. So originally Come Back Slow was a more of a mid-tempo track, very much in the style of everything else you heard before. And when I listened to the album in its entirety, my first draft, I realized I had nothing that broke the album up. Mm-hmm. Right? I'd put out songs before which were, kind of like the slow slow jam, quiet storm type of neo soul stuff, and independent R&B and new R&B kind of joints I put out before. So I realized I didn't have anything like that on the album. So I actually redid Come Back Slow as a slow jam, and it's really the break in the album, right? Mm. So and then we get back to what we were doing before. the story behind Come Back Slow was actually from something I experienced when I was a lot younger, you know, in a relationship, and it really was one of those things where, you know, when you are with someone and then, you know, things happen and you break up, and then you kind of reignite that fire, or they try to reignite that fire. You know, some people rush back into it because of familiarity, right? I know this person, I know it's screwed up, but let's just get back into it. And you know, you as a person will accept it because you want that person back, right? You wanna make it work. You know, in that whole story, you know, sometimes going too fast is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you tend to miss the things, that the warning signs, the red flags, the yellow flags, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can end badly. So sometimes it's better to take your time to be sure, make that return, slow that return down, make sure that all the things your value system is intact, your needs and your wants are taken care of, and their needs and wants are taken care of too. It's not just you, right? So it's really a message to both sides.
Super personal song.
Yes.
Super personal song. So this is the break. This is the relief in this album. Come Back Slow by The Monk. You're locked in, y'all. This is the listening party.
Made to just make those wishes way back to do. Oh, till I hide what she's down when they slow. Baby, it's space to put my mind's chasing, so wonder what I do. Love is this a place I can go, babe, and soundless, so one thing you do. Mind space, then baby, you know the secret place, then baby. I ain't begging, I ain't bad. Switching things, what we had. Love like this don't come around twice. But the way to live is life. You slow, still know she's still to grow with you. I'm still here just to you know I'm trying. Cause I don't let you go. Oh, ain't I still will play the style. Distract the breeze, still make me shout. Don't change a thing you used to say. But life switched lanes and we lost our way. Yeah, I ain't perfect, I talk too cold. You pull away when I don't fold. But every time I reach for peace, it's your name that we could pause, rewind, and heal, but this time let's keep it real. All the leaving what we made, it's talking what we made. Even the storm can't wash it away. Ain't that so us? You know, girl, I'm sitting with baby, dark time for yo, Lord, I don't let you go. We weren't perfect, but it felt real. No filtered, no games, strong connection. If you feel that still, I'll be right here, no pressure, just love. Baby, come back here, back slow. If your heart still knows, let's roll the game. Still go you, just so you know. Take your time, we'll come back slow. This kind of love don't let you go. That one,
love like this ain't easy to find and start to wait till I start rebound. Don't you keep don't go.
Yes, yes. This one here, Come Back Slow. You know, the Monk. I'm renaming you. The Monk had to get that slow groove in there. It wouldn't have been right.
Yeah,
without
that's
it.
right.
Now, all right. Now, this is actually the perfect place where my fascination can be exposed. There's an element, a truly unique element to the creation of this album that where we are now in life and technology allows for this to be. Now, you alluded earlier to the fact that you are not a trained musician. You're not going to pick up a guitar and start stroking it and, you know, bang out a tune for us.
Absolutely.
But you have music within you. And we are now in a technological era where you are able to take that which is within you and output it and create art with the use of AI.
Correct.
Now, this is the first that I know of. I'm not all knowing, but this is the first neo soul, or the first individual that's creating these neo soul songs at the level that you're creating them through AI.
Yes.
So, you know, my curiosity truly, when I listened to it, and as I was telling you, my brain was, you know, misfiring because music is a feeling to me. And here I am experiencing these feelings through a way that's not traditional of transferring art from one to another.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the process of getting the music out of your mind through AI to a form that we can experience this way.
Okay. So, and I've never made it a secret. I use AI tools to help me make my music. That's something I've said from the very beginning when I first started. But I think the important thing that people need to understand, and I think especially a lot of the conversations that are happening right now, and you know, some very bad examples of how music is generated using AI platforms, it has a bad rep. You know, the assumption is, you know, all you got to do is put in some prompts and you get what you want out of it. That is the furthest away from the truth as you can possibly get. Yes, AI is a tool that you can leverage. Yes, AI references music in a particular way using what we call large language models and data sets. Basically what it does, it looks at something like, let's take the history of jazz, right? Soup to nuts. And it looks at that, it references it in a way that you can interrogate it. And the good thing about, you know, the platform I use explicitly, you can't just say, I want this track to you know, 90s neo soul track that sounds like Jill Scott and a little bit of D'Angelo, and off it goes. Like, it can't do that. First of all, these platforms will not let you reference anybody, right, as an artist.
Okay.
You have to really rewire your brain to figure out how to get it to do what you want it to do, right? So you basically use prompts to elicit an output from your AI, and AI trains. You're training your AI, right? Like any other tool. A little bit more. It's not like any other tool. I'm gonna say that again.
Most definitely.
You train it to get you what you want, right? And it will come back with, you know, okay, for this particular segment, this is what I think. And it might give you like 3 or 4 different versions. You're like, yeah, no, I don't like that. And the great thing about my platform is I can go into the level of vocals, I can go into the level of instrumentation. So really, I'm kind of patching it all together.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you patch it together and you give it enough information, and you say, okay, you've got enough information now, let's carry it forward and see what we can do. But at no point do you just let AI do AI, right? You create with it.
The thing is, I don't think that it's, you know, if it worked that way, it would have the same output, because
But it doesn't.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because the music is
It doesn't.
I hear you.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, so there has to be an interaction where you are actually saying, listen, I want this and I feel this, and that is not the sound, and that is not the, it has to be, because there's no way that that device can say, oh, you want a Jill Scott tune? Here you go.
Yeah, it can't legally. It can't. It will block you, right?
Right.
But what it is, and the reason why I've got pretty proficient at doing it, and shouts out to Black Orchid, because Black Orchid is the one that got me into learn how to prompt in correctly. It works the way my brain works, right?
Yeah.
I finally found something that works the way I think.
Yeah, because your brain's not normal.
You always say my brain's not normal, right? So I found something that works with the way my brain thinks. And then because I can listen to something from a reference perspective and say, okay, that's what it is. I think probably the hardest part of anything that I've built in the past is really not the music. The music's actually pretty straightforward, right? It's the vocals and the vocal arrangements and the type of vocals and the tone of vocals. And, you know, I've got 1,000,001 prompts I can use to manipulate it to give me what I want, right? But what you're doing when you're doing that is once you've done it, it's now said, okay, Jason, as a person, because I have an account, this is the kind of voices that he likes, and it's got a reference point for anything I've got going forward.
Right.
Right. So, you know, then you start to hear your sound start to come out in everything that you do. The more you do it, the more your sound starts to come out, because I produce in a particular way on that platform. And
it's starting to understand you.
Understands how I do it. Yes.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. I want to get into another track. Let's get into the next one. And then, you know, I have a few questions about, because, you know, I've been sitting back and watching the conversations you've been having and such, and there's different opinions from, you know, different directions in different ways. But, you know, I feel there's a philosophical conversation to be had as well.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah, so, you know, I just want to get into the art. Let's get into it. Let's do It's Better With You.
Okay.
Beautiful song. You're locked in, y'all. This is Neo, The Listening Party, the Monk's third release, but I think the big one.
Baby, grace. You want no cone, baby. Baby, grace. You want no cone, baby. I was riding solo with plans to stay. Focused on the grind, just moving day to day. Never thought I'd feel this way. She smiled at different girl, made me stay. You ain't asked for much, just kept it real. Held it down when I was out of touch. Look at us, this thing is real. Didn't know I needed more till you opened up that door. Now I see it clear. Every moment feels sincere. It's better with you, girl, no doubt. Life is sweeter since you came around. Used to be good on my own. Now I know I was just alone. It's better with you. No lie. Bring the peace that money can't buy. So glad you stayed. Didn't run. Love feels different when it's real and done right. Don't need makeup, you don't need show. You walking true, that's the glow. Don't talk big, you just prove it slow. And I swear, that's what made me grow. Late night, you stay through my phases and shade. All of it, your headspace didn't fade, never. That's why you got this place, I say. For you, I need you more. Till your love knocked on my door. Now I'm open wide and true. Feels like home when I'm with you. It's better with you. I wrote no doubt. Life is sweeter since you can't walk around. Used to be good on my own. Now I know I was just alone. It's better with you. Do no lie. Bring the peace that money can't buy. So glad you stayed. Didn't run. Love feels different when it's real and done right. We ain't perfect, but we learning. You learn the age, now the fire still burning. Used to be afraid to let my guard down. Now I think so, and I love now. You the common in my stone. First light I come home to when the nights get long. This ain't a dream, it's the real, the true. Spend our better with you, with you. It's better with you, I wrote no doubt. Life is sweeter since you can't walk around. Used to be good on my own. Now I know I was just alone. It's better with you, no, no lie. Bring the peace that money can't buy. So glad you stayed, didn't run. Love feels different when it's real and done right.
It's better with you. I love this song. I really do. It feels so good. You know, I feel myself kind of get lost in it. I love this song.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the other side of the game, right?
Yes.
You know, it's you know, when you find that person who just makes everything better than what it was.
Absolutely.
You wanna kind of sing from the rooftops and bounce around and stuff. And of course, you can hear the obvious references there, right? In terms of you know what the feel I was going for.
And it honestly, it feels that way. There's a bounce to it. There's a skip to it, you know, like I love it. Yeah. And I mean, this is the fascination for me because I feel you in that song. And knowing your experiences and where it's coming from, I feel that in this song.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important message to people that, you know, may look at, you know, these newer technologies that people are doing to create music, is that, you know, you are injecting a significant amount of yourself into this creation. If you are doing it right, you can always tell the ones that just, you know, let AI do what AI does. You can always tell. It will meander. Yeah. There's no soul to it. There's no feel to it. There's, you know, there's all, like I say, there's elements of the things that I love in music in all of this, and I made sure that that signature remains in every single song that I did.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's the one thing I consistently feel like each of these songs, I can close my eyes and I can see you and how you're moving and how you're feeling to that song. Like, because I know how you react to certain sounds, right? Like I feel it.
Yeah, that's why you see no moody stuff on here, right?
You know what? I like my moods. It makes me mysterious.
I love you, Lucia.
Makes me mysterious. That's what I tell myself at this point. So here's the broader question I have from you, because, you know, I have the vantage point of having a neurodivergent child, and watching you go through this, knowing that you can't, you know, you're not an instrumentalist, but you very effectively have translated what's within outwardly in this format. And I look at someone like, you know, my son perhaps, or even other people that don't have formal training with instruments. You know, how do you feel about, how do you feel about what this gives people access to? And then thinking of the arguments that people have presented to you, what do you say to them with that sort of in mind? Like, music is not, is it just for people that can play instruments?
I don't believe that. I think music's for everybody, right? You know, you have. I look at it this way, right? You know, if you look at the march of technology over the decades, all right. Every major change in technology, you always had these people that were like, "Oh my God, you know, that's not real music. Those are not real instruments," and blah 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 blah. Right? You know, from the 70s analog into the 80s digital synthesizers to the 90s sampling of hip hop tracks or of old tracks to create hip hop. Like, there's always been a change in technology. You're always going to have a bit of a backlash. I think what's a little bit different with AI, because, you know, there's a semblance of human control you have over that, right? You know, so if you look at, you know, let's take our boy Zoe, right? You know what I mean? He can go up and do a full show with a 3-piece band,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, everything's off his keyboard. Emulated
Right.
sounds, organs, bass lines. You know, he can emulate anything off of those keyboards. If he knows how to play it, you know, he can play like a bass player. If he knows how to play, he can play like a guitarist. Like, he can do all of that off of a keyboard, right? And it becomes the norm, right? Because it's a tool. I think for people who are neurodivergent, it provides opportunity. It provides opportunity for people who are, you know, really have the ability to hear music a particular way. I'm going to use an example, and no one's going to like this example I'm going to use because he's in the news right now for the worst reasons ever. But one thing I've always said about Sean Puffy Combs is that he knows what sounds good. He can't do anything, right? He knows what producers to use. He knows what sounds he wants. He knows how to put that thing help put that thing together to produce a hit record or create a subculture, right?
You can't play an
He
instrument.
can't play an instrument, right? So, you know, him standing in the studio saying, "Yo, I want this, and it needs to sound like that, and it needs to have this kick or that kick, and blah 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 blah." You know, he's kind of helping guide and mold and shape the sound, right? What I find with some musicians, they're somewhat inwardly facing, right, as opposed to outwardly understanding what their end state audience is going to look like. That's going to consume their music. Because I sit on the other side of the fence, I know what I like to hear as a music appreciator, a music aficionado, and as a DJ. And as a DJ, I translate that music to dance floors. You know, it's not the same view as a musician, right? A musician is about their art and what they create, and what they create should be good enough for a bunch of people who's going to say that it's brilliant, right? I took the view of whatever music I create using, you know, these newer tools, and it is a tool. Let's get this clear. It's a tool. It doesn't do it for you. I want to know that I'll create something that if I go forward 2 years and I listen to it, will it still sound good?
Right.
Does it have that kind of more timeless sound? That's why I decided to use Neo Soul as kind of like my anchor for this particular album, because I think Neo Soul in itself is timeless. It's always going to sound good.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter what happens with all these genres, and if you listen to Spotify's, you know, top 100 R&B charts, they all sound the same, right? Everyone's making music to chase the top 1% of people that earn.
Yeah.
So originality goes out. There may be variations to it, but true originality is disappearing because everyone's trying to chase the, you know, the
That
numbers
mainstream,
and the
yes.
mainstream in there. Now they've got the ability to get that music from their computers. They don't need to go to a studio anymore and pay thousands of dollars to get it mixed. They can do it all on their computer, upload it to DistroKid, go, right? And that process, to me, has cheaper music to a certain degree.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So, you know, I really wanted to take time with this album to dig into what influenced me and my musical journey, and how I can do a tribute to that. Not replicate it, but do a tribute to it
Right.
and let it stand up next to it. Make
Let's
sense?
let it stand up. Let's let it stand up. I want to get into the next one. You got something, because the wonderment continues.
Yeah.
I will say this. I was a skeptic in the beginning.
On what?
You know, I was saying, AI, how does it work? Because I'm thinking that it's going to lose the feeling. But I feel this whole album.
Because it's not AI. It's me.
It's
me.
you. Yes, using this tool to.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Yes.
So let's get into this. You got something off of the brand new release by the Monk, Neo.
Ooh, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah. You got high, yeah. You got something, baby. Let me talk to you real quick. Yeah, someone you think, yeah. I felt straight. Look, man, look, man. Walked in a room like you already know. Turned the head spinning time, moving kinda slow. Didn't say a word, but I felt the spark. Like a vibe, pulled the light straight out the dark. And I ain't trying to rush this feeling, but you got my whole world leaning. You sippy tea all through the low. Meanwhile, my heart trying to feel the show. Oh, I've been around, seen a few things, but you hit different. Got me rethinking what real could be. So I lean just a little. Something I ain't seen before. You do either strong, either quiet, or it's not just the way that you move. It's the silence between that room. Got something, maybe something true. It's in the way you just be you. And I'm here trying to keep my cool. Damn, you're breaking all my rules. To thank you, you laugh like Sunday final. You walk like a 9-5. Got soul in your fingertips. Got jazz in the way you lick your lips. This ain't about rushing in, but if you're down to build, I'm all in. Let's take the long road, group by group. You never been to me in. Don't cause I don't play the game. I dance to be known, but you bring the rhythm that feels. Oh, I'm tuned in now. I see the light. You feel like that song I didn't know I write. No, you got something can't explain, like sunshine with London rain, like cooking slow with a can of fire, like reading out what holds inside. You got something real, no disguise, no flash, just feel. And I'm here for all that you get. So don't fall back, let it move. Ooh, that loud flash, yeah, flash and flash, the whole soul got a soundtrack. Kills the ghost. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. You got that something, keep it coming, baby. You got something that you're looking for. Not too much, not too short, but just enough to make me feel fine. Leave me real. You got something to say, it's something rare. A whole vibe flow through the air, and I ain't playing.
Yes, this is a bop. You got something off of the brand new album Neo by the Monk. I really dig that one too, and that definitely. I'm gonna let you tell me where the influence for that one is, because I know where it is.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is. Like it's obvious, right? Like the lyrics
Yes.
are obvious, right? You know, it's you know, that person that's got that je ne sais quoi,
Yes,
that
it's
element,
a bounce,
that,
you know.
that element, that, you know, that thing. Yeah. Really, that's what it's describing, right? And again, you know, from experience and what I've, you know, my own experience over the last year. Yes, absolutely, it's been that for me.
The pep in the step has been so evident, brother.
Yes, I've been pepping my step in, you know, and what, most importantly, I think for myself, is really more around like within myself
Yeah.
internally. A lot of it is very self-reflective. So yeah, so it's dope. It's cool.
I love it. Like, and this is the beauty of it. There's such a story through the whole thing. And then I got to this one. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Temperature.
like I said, it's yeah, it's a bop.
And the feeling
Yeah, and the
of
feeling,
of it is within it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are not club tracks. These are
No.
these are things that you can put this on in your car when you're cooking dinner, when you're having a barbecue.
Yes.
great Chill
I was
background music.
I was thinking as I was listening, like this is sundress season song. This is, you are going to enjoy the sun, the day, the feels good. This is what I'm bopping, what I'm doing today.
Mhm.
It's yeah, I dig it. It's a nice one. I'm feeling it. I'm trying to contain it, but I feel it. All right, let's get into Love Don't Walk Away.
Mhm.
And then we're getting close to the epilogue.
Yes. Yes.
And then I'll give you some kudos and thing,
Oh, I hear. So just a little bit about this track as well. So this wasn't actually on the original album drop.
Okay.
So it just felt a little uneven. I needed one more track. I had something I had rendered probably around about, I want to say about 6 weeks ago. And it kind of like, once I started working on it and tried to move it into the style I wanted to get from it to be like the kind of the bookend to the album before you get to the epilogue, it just worked. And actually, when like I said, I did a straw poll, right? I actually sent this to Gene King. Me and Gene King have been talking, going back and forward on all this for a few months. And so he's been kind of like one of the people who I will send stuff to so he hears it, because he hears music a little differently. He's very like me. He's more like a savant. And he'll come and say, okay, this is great. This isn't blah, blah, blah. And it's not his genre per se. He's a house guy. But he's an exceptional engineer and a producer, right, from a musical perspective. And when I said to him, like, what's your top 3 tracks from it? This track was number 1 for him.
Really?
Which is the newest track. And actually, announce it here officially. So I've licensed this track to him, and he's going to release a house music version on Shine Records.
Amazing.
So, because he likes it so much. So
Wow.
The newest one of the pack, which was like, okay, let me throw something in. Some people really, really, really like it. So I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah, Love Don't Walk Away. Let's check this one out. I love it.
Yeah. Sometimes love don't believe it's just right. Yeah. But we still here. Yeah. To the top till the sunrise. They scroll past me like I'm some guy. Nah. You don't laugh at my jokes no more. No. And your kisses don't hit like before. We said forever, been every word. Now we sitting in silence, both feeling unheard. I still cook your favorite plate, but now the candles burn. We're out before you're home. And I'm just sleeping, taking a rest. Don't mean it's leaving, don't mean it doesn't. We got something too deep to think. Let's not throw away what we made. Now, go away. Ways in the corner. Oh no, the sun kind of warmer. Love don't give us. It's quiet sometimes. Don't take the still for the fight. Instead, I know I'm not the same as was back. We been bruised by the days, so we ain't got a end. Instead of verse in my hood, beat in my pen. Try a new pace, don't gotta pretend. Start without fighting, love without fear. Crying the dog for I sit here. Ain't about pride, it's about you, man. Let's find our rhythm, bring back that heart. Love Don't quit us, need space to breathe. Let's not give up on you and me. Oh, stays through the fire, yeah, burns through the hell. I'll take the time, yeah, love. Don't quit us, need space to breathe. So survives if we let it move.
Yes, yes. Oh man, I am so excited for you. Love Don't Walk Away is the name of that album. Listen, I feel your art. I feel you through this album. And I think that you've breached a particular barrier that cannot be denied. And I'm so excited that you've done it so masterfully. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing
Beautiful.
is, as I'm listening to it, and I've listened to the album so many times, I'm like, oh, I can tweak this. I should have tweaked that. I should have done this. Like, one thing I've always used to be on to producers and musicians, like, why you keep tweaking everything, man? Let's let it go, innit? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I understand it now. And, you know, the interesting thing is, especially with this particular track, this is more of a collaborative track. So during my journey, you know, I discovered BandLab, which is like an online community. They have their own kind of like tools on there. Not necessarily AI, but, you know, they do like, you know, you can basically do collaborative production in a single space. So this was kind of an element of collaborative production with this one. You know, I've got someone to put some extra drums on there and stuff like that. And, you know, so, you know, it's allowed me to appreciate music more. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And
most
the
definitely.
creative process. So now, you know, I've got my APK MIDI keyboard that's been sitting there forever. And now I'm starting to experiment more with, you know, taking like, you know, elements from my AI creations, breaking them up and splitting the tracks, and then kind of, I don't want that. Let's see if I can do something on the APK to kind of supplement that. So, or someone else come and do something on the on their side, you know, to do something on the track. So I really want to move into, you know, as I move forward in this journey, not doing all productions myself, but more collaborative work, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, with more traditional producers. So, you know, I want to be a beat maker.
It's amazing. So like, when you look into the future landscape, you know, Neo, I understand the name. Where do you go from here? What's next?
Right. So, so what's next after this one? After this release, you know, I've kind of got most of the tracks for what you would consider to be Neo Tool 2. I don't know if I'll ever put it out. I think I want to do something.
Wait a minute.
What?
Remember, we learned something when we sat with DJ Jazzy Jeff.
I know. Release everything. I know.
Yes,
Release
Die Empty.
like I said, but it's there. It's done, right? I don't know if I'll put it out as my next release. I want to see how this one goes. I'd like to take Neo to what I built and kind of find some really cool musicians and producers who'll be interested to collaborate and kind of recreate it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So consider it like a demo.
Jason.
I actually have a track that is right in his wheelhouse, sitting on my computer. But yeah, I really like to do that because I want to continue to learn, and not only learn but also teach, you know, more traditional producers how they can leverage AI as a tool to help really shape their ideas, right?
Yeah.
You know, because it can, like, if you know how to prompt it correctly, you can get something really cool out of it. You know, I did a sample pack. I don't know if you've seen it on Bandcamp. I did a sample pack, a beat tape, and I've had a few people download from that and, you know, go use it. I don't care, right? So I'm starting to understand more around, you know, what drives musicians and producers and stuff like that, and in their world, and I completely respect it. I think for AI and music overall, I think it's gonna be a very, very transitional year for us, for people that do it. Obviously, you guys may have seen the whole Timbaland announcement of his AI label with his AI artist, and then him doing a not so good explanation of what he's doing, and Guru absolutely slapped the crap out of him on the Instagram. But one thing I have to say is that, you know, I do believe as more of this kind of AI generated music, and I'm saying a percentage of it is AI tooling. It has to be parameters around it. But you know, I think, you know, categorization of the music as a type of music is going to be critical going forward. The reason why is this: as these AI music platforms get more and more powerful, and they will get more and more powerful and much better at what they're doing. They're still, I consider this like phase 1 or 0.1, to be honest, what we're doing right now. You know, at the rapid rate of how they're changing these models so quickly and introducing more and more tools, eventually people will be doing whole productions using this, right?
Yeah.
Because the prompting engineering will get a lot better. You'll be able to ask for more stuff. You'll be able to give you more stuff. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you'll have human review, but really AI generated. And they'll take that music and they'll upload it to Spotify, right? Or to all these other music streaming platforms. Well, then the same AI model, these same AI platforms is ingesting that music back, right? And so at some point in the future, you know, AI music is going to outstrip real music.
Yeah, but do you feel there's a danger in that?
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
I understand right now you've created this album that I find beautifully artistic, right? But do you feel that there's a flip side where there's a danger to it all?
It is the most dangerous thing that's happened in music ever. I'm the first one to admit that. And the reason why I say that is I'm not looking at now, I'm looking at I'm not even saying 5 years down the road, right? This is how quickly this thing is moving.
Yeah.
5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, imagine what we've done in like the last 2 years. Imagine what we're going to be able to do in the next 5 years.
Right.
With this, right? So I think now is a critical time to put some really hard parameters around what it's doing, how it's being created, and more importantly, you know, if you're referencing copyrighted music, right, find a way for you to store those ISRC codes in a database, so that when you draw from it, there's an opportunity for, you know, these artists to get remuneration, right, to get paid, right?
Yes.
I think that's really, really important, because you are, you know, I mean, as human beings, we reference other music all the time. That's how music develops, right? You know, if you take I was having a debate with someone about, you know, vocals on one of my tracks, right? I have one that, you know, I really wanted to sound like, kind of like the Glenn Lewis feel. And it's really the way he approaches his songs and how he clips his words. And it's more like spoken word singing as opposed to poetic, right? And someone goes, "Oh, you're just cloning Glenn Lewis's voice." I said, "No, I didn't." And I said, you know, I'm using it as a reference to a style of singing that I'm getting my AI to do, but it's not his voice, right? And I said, I gave him an example of October London. I said, if you're going to start talking about that, then October London should just pack up and put himself away, because he's the reincarnation of Marvin Gaye.
Facts.
If he didn't hear Marvin Gaye, he wouldn't be singing like that.
Very true.
So as human beings, we always are referencing music that we've heard, interpreting in our brains and putting some creative spin around it, and producing something that almost pays tribute to that.
I mean, hip hop as a genre does that, right?
It does.
Look at all of the classic joints. We're pulling from 60s, 70s, 80s joints and having these. Yeah, we're rhyming over them, right?
But I mean, hip hop's more specific, right? Like in the beginning, it was all freestyle. They were sampling everything. Right? And then record labels came and said, "Yo, you're using copyrighted materials. There's a direct correlation to you taking a snippet from an old song, looping it, and it doesn't matter how creative you are with it, it's still their music."
Yeah.
AI, you can't do that with AI.
Right.
Right, because it doesn't copy music. It just listens like we do and use it as a reference for what it stores, so you can create from it. Make sense?
Absolutely fascinating.
Okay, so it's a little bit different, but I think there needs to be legislation around that. I think there should be an AI category, definitely. If I'm releasing music on Spotify, which I have, Midnight Flowers got into the Amazon top 100.
Yeah, you're making like listings and ting.
Yeah. Going to the Amazon top 100 R&B charts for the UK.
You're at number 45?
It was at number 30. It went up to number 38. I was beating out Michael. I was
38.
beating out Michael Jackson,
Shut up.
right? But at the time, when I looked at it, I was amazed. But I was like, you know what? I always felt like I was cheating,
Cheating.
right? Because you know, I know how I made this music, and then I know the artists that are around me how they made their music.
Yeah, but you know what? I've sat in it. I've listened to it over and over again. I know you. I actually know the context behind these songs. And I can't, I can honestly say in the beginning, I was like, no, I can't get with AI music. But then I watched you go through this process, and now I hear this all put together in its completion. And even the ones before this, I'm listening to it, just scratching my head like, I have to understand it more, But don't discount what you've created.
No, I don't mean it.
Yeah, for sure. Like
I don't mean it like that.
And I do agree that it needs its own category as far as a genre, right? But
Well, it's not so much a genre because it's not really a genre.
a genre,
It's a categorization.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is beautiful music, my friend. Yeah,
Thank you.
I really enjoy it. I
Thank you.
love it. I feel it. I am excited by the words that I hear within it. It's a beautiful album.
Thank you.
You rock that.
Thank you. So
It's a
the
bop,
last
my boy,
the last track is the epilogue.
to close it out.
How to close it out, and I wanted to close it out a little bit differently, and it's really more of an indicator of what Neo 2 sounds like
Okay.
in terms of the approach. And I've gone more for, well, you'll hear it when you hear it, you'll kind of hear what I'm doing. It's purely instrumental. There's no vocals, but you'll hear
Beautiful.
it,
I like that.
and then you
Beats
can
me.
tell me how what I'm referencing and what direction I'm going. How about that,
Okay.
Lucia D?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. This is the epilogue.
Let's go, y'all. Yes. You've been here listening to the album release, the listening party for Neo, the new album by The Monk. Artistry. I love it.
Did you get
Congratulations to you, brother.
Did you get the reference?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what is it?
Don't quiz me now, brother.
All right, I'll kind of tell everybody what I'm and this is why I say I probably won't put out Neo 2. And when I say I want to really collaborate with actual musicians and use my tracks as like a base or a demo or a framework for what they're going to build. As you can tell from that last one, far more of a live feel, right?
Yes, definitely.
Far more of a live feel, far more.
Oh, you're
deep.
jumping into exactly what I was going to ask you next.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I absolutely am wondering, how do you, or what are the plans to take this live and perform it and put it out in front of people? How does that happen? Because that's the progression, right?
Yeah.
Imagine
yeah.
Soul Fest with The Monk.
Yeah. So I actually had this conversation with my guy Debonair Music down in the States. Shout out to Debonair. Shout out to Raymond and them guys. Anything I create, I create with a live band ear, meaning if I'm going to give this to someone to perform for me, a band, let's take the recipe, right? Can the recipe play it? That's how I did. Can the recipe play this? Yes. Can the recipe do the recipe on my track? Yes. Okay, we're
Yes.
good, right? The only thing I think I'm gonna be challenged with is the vocals, right?
I don't think so.
Well, I say it this way, right? Is that if you listen back, and maybe not so much with the Neo album, if you listen to some of my other tracks, you know, Love Sweet Design and Ride the Wave and Midnight Flowers and all the rest of the stuff I've done, you know, I'm a big guy. I'm big on vocal arrangements, right?
Yeah.
You know, I listen to so much old, like, 78, 79, 80s, like soul music. It's so embedded in my brain is that when I look at ranging vocals, that's what I'm referencing at all
Right.
time. Highly complex, right? You don't have those level of singers anymore. You just don't,
Very true.
right? So, you know, will it translate all the way? I don't know. I think it will work well. But the vibe I got on the epilogue and then the other tracks I've done, which is really making up the build out for Neo 2 with that more live band feel,
I love it.
is really where I want to take it. So that's kind of like a place I want to go to at some point. That's why I said it might be a while to see, you know, the final Neo 2. But in between, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I've been releasing music pretty much since
Yeah, you've been
October,
going at it.
October last year.
So can I be in your music video?
What video?
I mean, whatever one is coming.
I don't need you in the music video.
I'm just saying, if you're doing a video.
I've already started working on Midnight Flowers, the AI video already.
Midnight Flowers is getting some traction. Like,
It
talk about
is.
that real quickly.
It is. I don't know how. I don't know why. Right?
Because it's good music.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But I tap back into that Jill Scott poetic thing with Midnight
Right.
Flowers. But the way the singer sings it, she sings it with almost a British feel. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Right. Even the way the enunciation of the words is very Georgie Sweet, Iga LMA, kind of, you know, even a little bit of Emma V.
Emma V. I
Right.
was gonna say,
A
yeah.
little bit of Emma V in there, but very much the kind of like the classic US neo soul sound. So it was a nice little balance between the two. And yeah, like it's a track that you can go back to and listen to and listen to and listen to. I'm in a social audio community, and they did a side by side comparison with Erica Badu's Other Side of the Game for people that have never heard it, neo soul before, just as a test. And yeah, mine came out on top. So I'm getting something right with it.
Yeah, you got something. You got something for sure. Well, I can't give you anything but your flowers. Congratulations. You know, I'm certainly feeling like a proud sis, sitting next to you here. But yeah, you're changing some skeptics to believers, because I'm a believer, hands down. Like this is good music, man. It feels good.
Well, I'll say this, right? I'm really trying to demonstrate the art of possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you take someone like a J Soul or a Zoe or a Slacker, and they really understood how to leverage a platform like this, can you imagine the amazing music they could
Crazy.
potentially make alongside alongside all the stuff they do with it?
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy.
Listen, it'd be crazy, right? So
Because if you look at someone like I'm gonna say J Soul, of course, but with the Afro electric vibe that he has, imagine unleashing that brain on these platforms.
exactly, that's exactly what I mean. Exactly what I
know?
mean. Exactly what I mean. And so yeah, so you know, my journey is really more of a like John the Baptist in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like trying to spread the word that, you know, you can make legitimate music that, remember, it's all to do with how it resonates with the audience. It
Yes.
doesn't matter how you feel about the music as the creator. You may think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the moment you put it out, it doesn't resonate with anybody.
Right.
Right? That's why I said sometimes artists and producers are very inward facing.
Yeah.
in terms of what they do. But you know, if you listen to Zoe, for example, like he will tell you all day Leon Silvers. That's all you're hearing in everything that he does is Leon Silvers,
Mhm.
right? So he references all the time. So you know, I think it's important to show the art of possible, and then you know what you can do with it, and then that you can get success from it, a moderate amount of success from it.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm very much an unknown quantity and entity in that space, right? So,
Yeah.
but in terms of the album, and I'm sure you want to know when it's going to get released and stuff.
Yes, release, how we find it. Of course, you know I'm gonna big up Bandcamp because that's the way. But all of the things, how do we get to the Monk?
All right, so you can follow me on IG at the Monk Music 70. So I'll be posting. I haven't got a lot of posts on there, but I'm gonna start posting more on that. You can find me on Bandcamp. Just put in the Monk. Don't put any spaces in between that. Put the Monk, and you'll find me on Bandcamp. The release itself is actually going to be done on all platforms. What I used to do is just do it on Bandcamp because Bandcamp to me has always supported independent music. I've only very recently started putting things onto Spotify. I go there last because I think they're the devil. But this is the first release where I'm going to be doing a release on all of the platforms on the same day. So it'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, you know, on the 28th of June. It will also be on Spotify, Bandcamp on the 28th of June. You can go there and download the track number 4. Used to Feel Like Love is available for download right now. And I'm also releasing it on vinyl as well via
That's
Elastic
the
Stage.
sweet part.
Yeah, I'm releasing it on vinyl via Elastic Stage. My previous 2 releases I did vinyl too, the albums I did.
Amazing.
So we're on Elastic Stage. So we're going to give you all the formats for you to do the digital side and then the tangible one if you want to go buy the vinyl.
Beautiful. I love it, man. I can't give you nothing but flowers because the thing is sweet. You know, I've been
Appreciate it.
riding around bopping to it for a minute, and you and I have done so many listening parties, so many album release parties. You know, I've sit beside you as you've chopped up, you know, different songs and things. But there's none of that to be had here. Like, it's a really good feeling album, good music, and I'm proud of you, man. You did your thing.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for hosting the first listening party. For those people who want to do this again, I'll be on the UK side tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST on Shaq D's Love Shack. So that's a special 3-hour show. So he's doing his own listening party for the album. And shouts out to Shaq D, shouts out to Mixmaster J, shouts out to Bully B, shouts out to the number of DJs, number of people that have really helped me and give me advice. Slacker, Simon Law, you know, all of everybody, Envy, everyone that's been involved in all the projects I've done up to this point.
Envy.
So everybody that's supported it so far. Again, you know, I'm very proud of what I've done and my achievement in actually putting out an album like this. You know, so
Too.
I hope it's going to be supported. If not, I don't care. I'm going to have a copy.
I got my copy. But when you put it on Bandcamp, I'll buy it. I'm big for that.
All right, you go buy it on Bandcamp. I want to make sure that I've got my vinyl. No one can take that away, right?
Yeah, I want one too.
Yeah.
So I have a request.
Yes.
Before we roll out of here, you know, I would like to roll out on Envy's Groove.
Envy's Groove.
Yes, please.
What, Midnight Flowers?
That's the original bop. Well, you know what?
Or do you want the new bop?
It's your world, squirrel. But I want to hear that tune.
Let me give you the new bop. That's
All
coming.
right.
Yeah, the lo-fi one I played for you earlier.
Okay. We're going to go lo-fi. And this is not my fault, y'all. Yes, I'm moody, but this was not my choice.
Yeah. So one of the really cool things about doing things on platforms like this, that you can do different versions of a song, right? Love Sweet Design, I did like 5 versions of that and released them all as remixes.
Wow.
Very similar to this one, Right on Time. I did a version which is more classic contemporary R&B, and then I said, okay, let me do something for the UK street soul sounds, because you know they're my biggest supporters at the moment. And then they said, you know what, I'll think about Lucia Diaz. Let me do like a lo-fi, blue eye soul kind of one for Lucia. So you know, to be determined whether I'll put it out, but I probably will. After Neo, I might just do a quick drop on Bandcamp only. Let's see how it goes.
I love that.
All right, let me give it a bop. Let's give it a listen.
All right, ciao.
Oh, baby. No worry. Came in your shit, y'all. I used to think love just wasn't for me. I get close to leave before it got deep. Told myself I was better alone, but truth is I just ain't feeling home. Had some good ones, but I let them go. Guess I was scared of what I didn't know. Then you came in, quiet but strong. No games, just right where I belong. Oh, 'cause love don't always make sense right away. Sometimes you gotta fall, make mistakes. All the heartbreaks, all those nights, they were just signs on way to the light. And when I thought I was all out of tries, you showed up right on time. Right on time. Yeah. You call me out when I get in my head, but you never my mess packing in bed. No, yeah. This ain't show up, even when I'm letting up. Beside you used to run from anything real. Now I lean in just to feel good. With you it's different. You want still me, just better in it. Love don't always make sense right away. Sometimes you gotta fall, make mistakes. All the heartbreaks, all those nights, they were just signs on way to the light. And when I thought I was all out of tries, you showed up right on time. Right on time. Used to think I missed the chance, like maybe love just wasn't meant for me. But the thing you got this is so easy, and I realized you were never late. I just wasn't ready, wasn't just wanting to say it. Love don't come with a map or a plan, but you reached for me, still took my hand. All those closed doors, all that pain, now it don't feel like it was all in vain. You were the sign that shifted mine, was right on time, right on time, right on time.
There you go, Lucia.
Good gracious. That song is so me.
I know. But thank you, Lucia, for taking the time. I know it took a little longer than we expected because we love to talk and stuff. But thank you so much for your support and your inspiration. A lot of this music that I'm doing now was all because I used to battle you at the end of my show, just to show you that you can't best me ever. But it made me go and hunt for some of this newer music and some of these newer forms of neo soul or newer forms of soul music. I'm gonna say that, and that really influenced that particular track.
I totally feel it. I sitting to listen to it, like I feel so seen. Like this song's being pointed at me right now. That's a Honey Drop track right there. Honestly, to be honest, it's hard for me right now because I have to determine how do I parse through these. Because they are going to get rinsed. and I have to do a Beats Beneath, probably to coincide with the release of this album because I'm a fan, man.
All right. Well, you know what I'll do. You know what I'll do. I'll give you a whole folder of all my unreleased stuff that you haven't heard yet.
I was just
Your
gonna
Beats
say,
Beneath.
come up off it.
Yeah, you can use it for your Beats Beneath.
Yes, please.
But you can never play them
'Cause
again.
You know you're stingy.
Yeah, no, but you can never play them again. On your show.
This is the
Ever.
life I live.
And again, thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. I really appreciate it. Shouts out to, I want to say one shouts out to Trey. Me and Trey used to work in the same company. I no longer work for the company anymore, but you know, we connected the other day and I sent him the link and he popped on. He just got off a plane. Big up Trey, man.
Yeah, big up everybody. I know that maybe, I'm coming, y'all. I'll be releasing myself to the world soon. But, life has to happen.
Indeed.
This is incredible, though. If there's any reason for me to pop the bubble of my seclusion, it has to be to celebrate this beautiful art. I'm so excited for you and so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, well, thank you.
All right, so you got to roll us out with one more. Y'all, thank you for listening in.
Oh,
You are locked into...
I got roll you out with one more?
Listen, we can go all night.
No, we're not going all night. Hold on.
We can unload the folder.
No, we're not doing that either. No, we're not doing that. Hold on, let me just...
See, this is where the stinginess comes in. This is what I talk about here.
Not
Stingy.
happening. All right, you know what? I'm gonna give you the one that sounds like Glenn.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you that one.
Let's do that. We're gonna roll out some Toronto love. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. You are locked in firmly to the listening party of the brand new album Neo by The Monk. This is iLive Radio, iLiveToronto.com.
What's the reason for this vibe tonight? Oh, feel the rhythm, let this love ignite. Flow behind love, let's enjoy the flight. We, you there, everything feels just right. Cause it's melody. Oh, listen through the night, love sweet design. This connection's good, like a glass of fine wine. In the twilight, lots of mystery. Oh, dancing in circles, our own symphony. Every step's a story, a new memory. With you here, I'm where I'm meant to be. Oh, in this sweet embrace where our dreams arise. In the evening glow, love unfolds its wing. Oh, in this desert, tell me my spirit sing. Under moonlit skies, let this romance swing. With every note and beat, feel the joy it brings. Flow in this rhythm like a gentle sea. In our melody of love we're meant to be.